What's going on YouTube? This is JabberTech and this is the Amazfit GTR smartwatch at only about $150. This smartwatch is quite possibly one of the best budget watches on the market right now. If you check out my links down below, you can have this shipped to you international all over the world, wherever you are, in about 1 to 2 weeks. Just check out my links down below and there's also a coupon as well. This is a smartwatch that promised a lot when it was released. They promised about 24 days of battery life. They promised 40 hours of GPS tracking, but let's just talk about the main specs of this watch. You get a really nice 1.39 inch panel, and it does have an ambient light sensor in here, so no matter what your surrounding light is, it'll automatically bright or dim the screen, and I didn't have any issues in direct sunlight with this, so the screen itself is a really beautiful, vibrant screen. It is an AMOLED panel after all, so blacks are really black and the colors really pop. Other than that, it's a 47mm style, but they also have a smaller one as well. Check my links down below. You get 5 ATM ratings, so you can swim with this in pool and salt water from what they're telling me. So for those swimmers out there, for those athletes, triathletes, biathletes, whatever the case is, if you do a lot of swimming, this is going to track your swims and be quite okay. In terms of tracking, you can track 12 different workouts from outdoor run to indoor run, cycling, treadmills, open pool swimming, elliptical trainer, climbing, trail running, skiing, and just basic exercise. So no matter what you do, you will be able to track your workouts, and you do have a continuous heart rate monitor on the back here, which in my testing was actually pretty good. 22mm style bands, so you can swap them out and kind of make this watch your own, customize it a little bit. There's a few things that I want to point out about this smartwatch that you might be accustomed to or you might expect from a smartwatch that just is not available on the Amazfit GTR, and one of those things is a speaker and microphone, so you cannot take calls from this, you cannot dictate replies to text messages, you cannot ask an assistant any sort of questions because there is not an assistant on this at all. It really is a smartwatch, it really is just like a fitness tracker, so it will not have a speaker, you cannot get calls, you will not be able to make calls. So whether or not that's huge for you, again, this watch is only $150, so just keep that in mind as I go through my list of things that I really didn't like about it. Next thing I really didn't like about this smartwatch is the lack of watch faces. Now I really like changing up my watch face on every single smartwatch that I have, and a lot of people do as well. We like to switch it up, we like to get different watch faces, and unfortunately the watch face selection on the Amazfit GTR is really just lacking. They have updated a few since I purchased this watch, so I have no doubt in my mind that as time continues, this watch was only released a couple weeks ago, I'm sure we'll get a nice collection of watches. At least with other Amazfit products, that's how it went through. But as of right now, the watch face selection really is not that great. So just to show you, once you do find the watch face that you like, it's as simple as just clicking on it, and as far as I can tell, all of these watch faces are free. I do not see a way for them to charge for watch faces, so that's also a plus. So it's really up to developers to just kind of make a watch face and put it available in the store. So here's my new watch face. Now once your watch face is installed and you have something new, all you have to do to change it the next time around is hold down on the screen and just swipe through and see your available watch faces. So I'm just going to leave this one here. I have 2 more negatives about this watch, and then I'll get into all the positives. But one negative that's a little bit more major in my opinion, this might be huge for you guys and it might just take a simple software fix, but as of right now, as of my recording, as of this review, my full, honest, truthful review, GPS on this watch is not the best. It takes a super long time to lock on. When compared to other devices that I have, the GTR was always last to find a signal. And the major downside to this is I live in an urban area. I'm here in New York City, and this just did not lock on to a signal when I was on the street. Even though I had a clear line of sight to the sky, this just did not lock on. I was outside waiting for about 10 minutes to get a signal on this watch, and it just never did. So I actually just gave up on it. But when I was in Central Park and I had a little bit more clearing, a little bit more open space, it did lock on, but it still was the last to find the signal and lock on to that GPS signal. While the signal does lock on to the satellites, the actual distance that's recorded is not 100% accurate. Just take a look at these 2 readings. Now this can be fixed with software, and chime in down below what your experience is with the GPS chip in the GTR. And if it's off a tad bit, is that something that you're really concerned about? I actually am, because over time it will add up, and if you are going for longer runs or longer bike rides or whatever the case may be, tracking is going to be less accurate. But if you are just going for short runs or short bike rides, is it a big deal? Let me know down in the comments below. For me, it actually is, but that's just my opinion. Let me know about your guys' opinion. But in my experience, after my time with this watch, once it locks on, it's pretty good. And even if you go in a tunnel and then come back out, it still kind of locks on and finds that signal. The next thing that I do not like about this watch, and that's notifications. While you will get notifications from just about every application, and every app will have its own icon that you can see, emoji support is just not in here. So if you look at this message, all that came through was hi. But if I show you the phone, I got a lot of emojis in here. I did that on purpose to show you. They just don't show up on this. And when you do get a message, when you do get some sort of notification, there's no way just to send a quick reply. You can't just hit an okay, yes, whatever. I really would like to see some sort of support for built-in replies. So if you really want to respond and interact with notifications on your wrist, this watch is not for you. You will not be able to do that. If you get a phone call on this watch, this is what you're going to see, and there's no way to really just select answer and then pick up your phone. The only choices you have is to silence the incoming call or to reject it. So I kind of wish they would have put a little button to actually answer it. This way you wouldn't have to open up your phone and answer it that way. That's just another thing that I want to mention. That's just another thing to be aware of. Now that we have those few things out of the way that kind of were little annoyances to me, but they might not be huge to you. It really depends on what you want from a smartwatch. This watch has a lot of great things going for it, and one of those things is definitely battery life. Battery life on this watch, they promised about 24 days of battery life, and really, I think I'm going to get a little bit more than 24 days. If I show you my current battery life right now, it's 55%, and if we go here and look at the app, it'll tell you when was the last time you had a charge, and I charged this 21 days ago, and I went for runs with this, bike rides, everyday things that I think everyone would do, and I have 21 days with 50%, so there's no doubt in my mind that this is going to last well into 30 days, but I chose to do this video now because of their promised 24 days, and at 21 days, I know I'm getting 24, so battery life on this watch is absolutely huge. Another thing that's really great on this watch is really fitness tracking, and once you do get a good GPS signal, it's gonna give you a nice detailed amount of information from your workouts. So this is just some of the activities I did. I went for a couple bike rides. I also went for some walks. I did some treadmill runs, basic workouts as well at the gym. I'm going to show you what type of reports you should expect, but battery life, considering I did a lot of workouts here as well, was really, really good. Actually, you're going to get a lot more information than I've seen from higher, more expensive watches on this $150 Amazfit. So looking at my workouts here, if I show you the activities that I've done, on the watch it'll show you a nice map of where you've been, your duration, show you your distance, average speed, max speed. It's going to show you your heart rate, how many calories, your climbing feet, your ascending feet, your descending feet, and then it also gives you a nice representation here of your heart rate zone. So for those of you that want to maintain a certain heart rate zone as you're working out, it's going to show you that. It's also just going to show you some more information about your gradient change, and I think this is something really cool. It also shows you your heart rate, your average heart rate, your highest heart rate right over there. Here's your speed, so it gives you some graphs over here. There's your altitude as well. And I just think this watch gives you a lot of great information, a lot of information that other manufacturers do not give you, especially at higher price points. So on the treadmill, you can expect pretty much similar results. It gives you the miles, your duration, speed, your pace, your heart rate, how many steps, your cadence, stride length, consumption. It also shows you that same graph for your heart rate right over here. There's another graph for your heart rate. And then if you do basic workouts, like if you just want to track your lifting workouts or whatever, see how many calories you burn, see your duration, again, your heart rate, and shows you the zone. The zones are really important in here, so it gives you a lot of information that a lot of other more expensive smartwatches do not give you. It'll also show you some really good information, your aerobic, your anaerobic, and your VO2 max information. If we go into the application on the phone, it's a very nice application. It's basic, but it does the job, and it shows you all the information that's available on your wrist, but on a bigger screen here, and that's always a plus. From here, you can screenshot it, you can share it, you can do whatever you need to do, and it just shows you everything. And if there is some information that was not actually tracked, it'll show you on the bottom. So again, the application is really nice, or you can view everything on your wrist. And then in my experience, the heart rate monitor was on point. I had no qualms, no issues with this heart rate monitor. The only thing that was a little iffy for me was step tracking. If I wore this watch on my right side, it would record constantly 1,000 steps more. If If I put it on my left side, it recorded only about a couple hundred more. And honestly, I really don't know which watch is correct, but it will give you an idea. If you know how to accurately track your steps, please let me know down below, because no watch that I've ever worn is actually going to give me the same exact steps, no matter which it is, if it's Garmin, Wear OS, or Tizen. When I wear two watches at the same time, neither one of them is in sync. Neither is my phone with the watch data, so I really don't know what's what. But in terms of giving you an actual idea, this does a good job. I think it's a pretty decent job in step tracking. You also have some apps here so you can see your weather. We all like to see weather. Music, unfortunately, you cannot store your own music on this. There is not storage in here for your own songs, but this does act as a remote control, so when you are playing music on your phone, you can change the track, pause it, or do whatever you need to do. This is what the always on display will look like. Although I wish it gave us maybe step counting. It is pretty simple, it is pretty basic, and that's really what you need. You always want to be able to tell the time, so this will tell the time for you. And just as a disclaimer, I did get the 21 days of battery life without using the always on display. So just to let you guys know, this will take a little bit more power. If you use the always on display, expect to get a little bit less juice out of it. But really, if you don't want to turn on the always on display, you don't have to. I never had any false positives when I used the tilt to wake feature. It always woke up the watch without any issues. So whichever one you choose, tilt to wake or the always on or both, you're going to be able to tell the time. I could highly recommend this smartwatch if those shortcomings that I mentioned earlier on in the video aren't really a big deal to you. Could this be improved with software? Yes, it could be, and I have received about 4 updates since I purchased this watch 3 weeks ago. So they are continuing to update the software, update the features, and I give them a plus for that. So some of these cons that I mentioned today might not be a con. They might actually be fixed in the future. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Again, check my links for international shipping, and you'll use my coupon code Save a Little Bit of Coin. I always like to know your opinion. What do you think about the Amazfit GTR? Do you have one? Are you going to get one? What are your comments and questions? Let me know down below. Thumbs up, subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time.